When Chi-jun told Lily about this, she became a little uncomfortable because, well, she was actually making this movie about her husband. Chi-jun, with his sharp instincts, tells her that if she's making a movie about him, she should at least meet him. This, of course, makes Lily even more awkward. To lighten the mood, Chi-jun takes her to a hall, where instead of discussing the movie, Min-young starts narrating their tragic backstory. As expected, her mother melts like butter on a hot pan. The next day, feeling all sentimental, she heads straight to the hospital to meet her ex-husband, who was literally waiting for her. The moment she walks in, it's as if he had been sitting there just to see her. His last wish is only to spend a day with his entire family in their old house. Determined to fulfill it, Min-young and her siblings roll up their sleeves and start cleaning the place, which is why Min-young skips her shoot. This does not sit well with Chi-jun. He keeps calling her, and when he finds out she isn't coming, he throws a mini tantrum and refuses to practice his lines. His manager, trying to be helpful, offers to rehearse with him, but Chi-jun declines because he can only practice with a girl. So in peak comedy fashion, the manager draws a girl's face on a paper bag and wears it. Chi-jun obviously is not amused and storms out. Without missing a beat, he heads straight there. Chi-jun, sensing something fishy, starts tailing him. He knows Jin-shu is this happy only when meeting one specific person. In the parking, both Chi-jun and Jin-shu end up in a ridiculous showdown with two siblings, each trying to use their money and fame to buy a parking spot. When that doesn't work, they somehow manage to reach Min-young's house, only to be completely shocked by what they see, because the guy they had just fought for a parking spot was actually Min-young's brother, the same guy they needed to impress to get closer to her. Talk about digging your own grave. Trying to save face, both Chi-jun and Jin-shu offer to help Min-young with the housework. When she mentions needing a plumber, she reaches for her phone, but Jin-shu quickly interrupts, flexing that abroad experience by saying he's done all sorts of household repairs himself. Not one to be outdone, Chi-jun jumps in, claiming he once played a plumber in a movie, so obviously he knows how to fix pipes. What happens next is a total disaster. Instead of fixing anything, these two end up bonding over their shared incompetence, turning the kitchen into a swimming pool. Min-young and her siblings can only watch in horror, face-palming at the mess. After making things worse, Min-young asks them to leave, but of course, Chi-jun insists on staying for dinner. Not only that, but he even starts placing orders for what he wants to eat. Min-young, at her wits' end, kicks both of them out and goes back to decorating the house for her parents. The next day, the whole family spends a beautiful day together. After years, Min-young finally gets to see her parents in the same room, and she's overjoyed. Her dad even gifts her a Lego set, making her feel like a little kid again. It's a perfect day, but her happiness doesn't last forever. The very next day, her father suddenly collapses. Rushed to the hospital, he undergoes surgery, but tragically, he doesn't make it. The news shatters Min-young completely. She locks herself in her room, refusing to talk to anyone, drowning in her grief. As if things weren't bad enough, the Lego set her father gave her also breaks. Min-young desperately tries to fix it, but it just won't go back together, much like her shattered heart. James offers to fix it for her and gently reminds her that her father was his father too. He tells her to stay strong because their father wouldn't want to see her like this. But Min-young is too lost in grief to care. Even when Chi-jun's manager calls, asking her to return to the set, she refuses. After all, the reason she joined Yang Entertainment in the first place was now gone. When Chi-jun hears about this, he's deeply affected. He decides to take drastic measures and, along with Junwoo, goes to Min-young's house to convince her to come out. But she's completely cut off from the world, refusing to respond. Seeing her like this, Chi-jun is heartbroken. He goes straight to director Lily and tells her everything. Lily also gets deeply moved. The next day, she takes Min-young to her husband's grave and gently reminds her that her father always wanted her to be happy. That's why she needs to prioritize her own happiness. Meanwhile, Chi-jun takes it upon himself to fix her broken Lego set. He doesn't stop there. He teams up with Min-young's siblings to create a master plan. The next day, they take her to an auditorium, where a projector starts playing a video of her father. In the video, he talks about how he lived a fulfilling life with his family and children, and how, even in the afterlife, his soul will only be at peace if Min-young is happy. Watching this, Min-young completely breaks down. But in that moment, Chi-jun steps in and reminds her that this entire movie is about her father. If she truly wants to honor his memory, she should return to the set. Finally, the next day, Min-young walks into the Yang Entertainment. The whole team is thrilled to see her, showering her with praise. Jin-shu, who hasn't seen her in ages, immediately rushes over to talk to her, but before he can say much, Chi-jun swoops in, drags her away, and even blocks Jin-shu in the elevator so he can stand next to her. When his manager points this out, Chi-jun, with the confidence of a king, simply claims he's just looking after his employee. With all this support, Min Young finally throws herself into making the movie with everything she's got, determined to show the world what a wonderful man her father was. One day, Jin Shu seizes the perfect opportunity and invites Min Young to go rock climbing. She agrees, which of course means Chi Jun simply had to eavesdrop. He overhears their plans and, determined to ruin their so-called date, shows up the next day uninvited. What follows is a battle of jealousy-fueled tactics, with both guys constantly finding ways to pull Min Young closer. But just when things start getting interesting, Min Young receives a call from her mom, inviting her to go shopping. She ditches both of them in a heartbeat, and because, let's be real, she wasn't going to miss a chance to bond with her mom, left behind, the two boys have no choice but to turn their rivalry into a full-on competition, trying to outdo each other in climbing. The added pressure was that a bunch of fans filmed everything for social media. Naturally, this results in both of them pushing themselves too hard, leaving them with sore arms and legs. The next day, after who knows how many massages, they somehow dragged themselves to the shoot, still unwilling to let their competition rest. When Min Young finds out that Chi Jun is in this condition because of her, she feels guilty and decides to make him a boiled egg. Now, Chi Jun hates boiled eggs, and he's just about to toss it in the trash when his manager casually drops the bomb that Min Young made just for him. Cue an immediate change of heart. He peels and eats it like it's the most gourmet meal ever. The next day, the tension between Jin Shu and Chi Jun is palpable. Both of them are dead set on keeping the other away from Min Young. But this time, Jin Shu doesn't just throw hints. He straight up tells Chi Jun that he has liked Min Young since childhood and is determined to pursue her. Chi Jun probably feels the same way, but no way is he going to admit it. Jin Shu wastes no time in launching his master plan. His first target is to impress Min Young's family, so naturally he starts with Lily. But Chi Jun, who is now keeping a closer eye on Jin Shu than on Min Young, decides to go for a different strategy, winning over Min Young's siblings. At the same evening, some staff members organize a small party and invite Min Young. She agrees to go, and Jin Shu immediately jumps at the opportunity, getting ready in record time. And there's no way Chi Jun is missing this chance either. That's why he also goes to the party, meaning that because of a girl, both the film's producer and actor attend this small party. And once again, in the heat of competition, they get drunk. In their intoxicated state, they start calling each other bro and completely lose control. Min Young and James take Chi Jun to his apartment in that condition. When James finds out that Chi Jun is a master of Legos, he becomes his fan, because James has loved Legos since childhood. Now he is completely impressed by Chi Jun, and he even starts convincing Min Young to behave well in front of him. Meanwhile, an assistant named Lee, a mysterious man, was bringing his child home from school. Assistant Lee looked extremely worried because he had gifted his son a dinosaur toy that contained a crucial secret recording. In reality, Assistant Lee was an employee at Lin Yang's company, and he had used the dinosaur toy to extract the truth from Lin Yang. However, Lin Yang got wind of this, so he took advantage of Assistant Lee's asthma and switched his inhaler. On the same day, Min Young and Chi Jun visit Assistant Lee's house because they were very close to his son, but as soon as they arrive and see Assistant Lee in critical condition, they immediately take him to the hospital. There, the doctor informs them that he has slipped into a coma. Because of this, Chi Jun and Min Young take his child home with them, as they didn't want him to be alone until his mother arrived. That night, Min Young lovingly tells stories to the boy, and seeing this, Chi Jun starts thinking about making her his wife. He begins to imagine a life like this with her. When Min Young falls asleep while putting the child to bed, Chi Jun gently carries her to the room. At that moment, he realizes that he truly loves her. The next day, when they go to the office together, Jin Shu is furious upon seeing them because they are both wearing the same clothes from the previous night. When Jin Shu questions Chi Jun about what happened between them, Ji Jun, who was waiting for an opportunity to make Jin Shu jealous, deliberately says that they had a wonderful night together. Hearing this, Jin Shu becomes enraged and decides that he must confess his love before it's too late. So, he starts decorating a place beautifully, ensuring that everything is perfect for his proposal. However, Chi Jun's manager finds out about this. Coincidentally, the manager had also been planning to propose to someone, Min Young's sister, ever since he met her and was smitten. So he too buys flowers and prepares to go to her. But when he learns about Jin Shu's proposal, he immediately calls Chi Jun. However, Chi Jun, being busy, now the time for Jin Shu's proposal arrives, and Min Young also comes to the venue with Chi Jun and the child. To stop everything, Chi Jun's manager himself rushes to the proposal site and ends up proposing to Min Young's sister. She, thinking that all the decorations were arranged for her, happily accepts his proposal. Seeing this, Min Young is also happy, completely unaware that everything had originally been planned for her. Meanwhile, Jin Shu is devastated as his plan fails. He feels helpless, knowing he can do nothing about it now. The next day, Min Young goes to the hospital because on the way back from Assistant Lee's house, she had noticed a suspicious stranger. She suspects that someone tampered with Assistant Lee's inhaler. To confirm, she gets the inhaler tested, and her suspicion turns out to be correct that someone had indeed tried to kill Assistant Lee. She immediately discusses this with Chi-jung. Just then, she spots the same man she had seen near Assistant Lee's house. She starts chasing him, but in the process, she falls and gets injured. Chi-jung rushes her to the hospital. When Chi-jung hears about this, he too arrives at the hospital. But Chi-jung doesn't let him enter Min Young's room. Min Ju argues that Min Young has the right to know everything, and that their fight should be fair. Hearing this, Chi-jun steps aside and lets him in, but stays close to the door, secretly eavesdropping on their conversation. Inside, Jinju confesses everything about how he had planned the proposal last night only for Min Young and how much he likes her. However, Min Young gently turns him down, saying that she only sees him as a friend. Jin Shu is heartbroken, but Chi-jun is overjoyed. Now he feels ready to confess his own feelings to Min Young. However, he wants to make the moment extra special, so he decides to propose to her in a unique way. He orders a dinosaur egg as part of his plan, but when the delivery gets delayed, he takes out all his frustration on his manager. Meanwhile, Lin Yang also discovers that Min Young has seen his right-hand man's face multiple times and has even started investigating. Fearing exposure, he decides to eliminate her. He is determined not to let a single girl come between him and Yang Entertainment, no matter what. Lily had understood Lin Yang's nature very well, and she soon realized that he was behind her daughter's injury. Furious, she directly confronts him and warns him to stay away from Min Young. She makes it clear that if he doesn't back off, the consequences will be severe. But Lin Yang is not someone who backs down easily. But Jinchu, despite being rejected by Min Young, refuses to give up. He decides that no matter what, he will win her heart. When he takes Min Young to the set, another competition between him and Chi-jun begins, as both try to take extra care of her. Seeing this, Lily gets annoyed and asks Min Young to leave, as she was causing unnecessary disruption in the shoot. Without thinking twice, Chi-jun lifts Min Young in his arms and carries her out of the set. Everyone is shocked by his sudden action. Outside, Chi-jun gently applies medicine to Min Young's feet, showing how much he cares for her. This sight makes Faye, the same jealous actress, burn with envy. That night, in a drunken state, Faye decides to take revenge. She posts this picture of Chi-jun and Min Young on social media, falsely accusing Min Young of being an obsessive fan trying to seduce the superstar with her body. The picture spreads like wildfire overnight, going viral across social media. The next day, Chi-jun's fans start attacking Min Young, calling her names and criticizing her harshly. The situation escalates further as angry fans gather in front of Yang Entertainment to protest, turning a small incident into a massive scandal. Because of everything that had happened, Min Young was now trying to avoid Chi-jun. But then her brother James, who really liked Chi-jun, he created an opportunity for both of them to meet. However, when Chi-jun approached Min Young, she outright refused to meet him and firmly told him, "Stay away from me. I cannot handle your presence." But the truth was, she wasn't avoiding him because she disliked him. Rather, she didn't want Chi-jun to suffer any harm because of her. Chi-jun was a superstar, and his public image had to remain spotless. On the other hand, Qing had now realized that Lin Yan was loyal to no one. His love was nothing more than a pretense. The only reason he hadn't revealed their relationship to the world was that he saw no business benefit in it. In fact, he had been going on blind dates lately, that too with someone on his level, a high-profile executive from another company. Watching all this unfold, Qing remained completely silent. She wanted to move forward with her plan quietly, without letting Lin Yang suspect anything. While Lin Yang was planning to marry another woman, he continued to spend time with Qing as if nothing had changed. Meanwhile, something unexpected happened when he found the dinosaur on the sofa. The moment it was found, a realization struck him. He remembered that Assistant Lee had the exact same recording dinosaur at the time when he had confessed many things in front of him. Panic gripped him. What if everything had been recorded? If those recordings came to light, his position would be in serious jeopardy. He had done things in the past that he couldn't afford to let surface. Determined to find out the truth, he sent one of his henchmen to track down the child who had the dinosaur. Eventually, he discovered that the child had gifted the recording dinosaur to Min Young, considering her his elder sister. Using the child as an excuse, Chi-jun found himself at Min Young's house. The child, missing his parents, clung to Min Young, seeking comfort. With no other option, Min-young allowed Chi-jun inside. As she spent time with him, she gradually realized just how sweet he was. Deep inside, she knew that she loved him too. The next day, when she attempted to return to the office, she realized how aggressively she was being attacked by Chi-jun's fans. Because of this, director Lily decided to keep her away from Yang Entertainment and the set, using the situation as an excuse. She stated that if her daughter came, she herself would not. In response, producer Jin Shu insisted that if she was removed from the assistant position, he would make her his assistant instead. He asserted that as the producer, no one could stop him. He also emphasized that she had to be on set because the film was about her father and she had an undeniable emotional connection to it. Meanwhile, Chi-jun found it unbearable that the person he loved was about to become someone else's assistant. On set, Jin Shu stayed close to her, taking care of her at every opportunity to make Ki-jun jealous. His manager taunted him, asking whether he planned to just sit and watch and wait for that egg while Jin Shu won the game. In response, Ki-jun deliberately tried to make Min-young jealous. He praised Faye for her exceptional performance and even took a selfie with her, getting close on purpose to observe Min-young's reaction. However, instead of being affected, Min-young simply glared at the Faye. After a while, she realized that this was the same person who had leaked her photos with Chi-jun and spread negative rumors about her. Although her anger stemmed from another reason, but Ti-jun thought that she was jealous and he himself made the decision that their feelings are mutual. Eventually, the dinosaur egg that Chi-jun had ordered arrived. Soon after, he invited Min-young to meet him at a specific place. Jin Shu, who was with her, quickly realized that Chi-jun was planning to propose. He wanted to take her away, but Min-young refused to leave with him. At that moment, Chi-jun reminded Jin Shu that he had once been given a fair chance and suggested that they should compete on equal terms. Hearing this, Jin Shu left. Meanwhile, the way Chi-jun proposed to Min-young was incredibly special. She genuinely liked him, and for a moment she was about to say yes. However, at the last second, she rejected him. She walked away, telling him that they were not compatible at all. She explained that if they were together, his fans would feel deeply hurt. People already spoke negatively about her, and she didn't want his publicity to suffer because of their relationship. After rejecting him, Min-young was truly heartbroken. On the other hand, Ting took Lin-yang shopping. She picked out a diamond necklace for herself. She was unaware that he had also ordered a similar necklace, but for his future wife. Without hesitation, he left Ching behind to meet the other woman. Meanwhile, on set, Lin-yang's henchmen secretly searched through Min-young's belongings, hoping to find the recording dinosaur. However, Chi-jun had already arrived. To save himself, he attacked Min-young, knocking over several things onto her. Chi-jun, without a second thought, stepped in to protect her. Min-young was injured again, and Chi-jun himself was also hurt. But without caring for his own wounds, he carried Min-young and took her to the hospital. The media erupted with controversy, claiming that Min-young had trapped Chi-jun in her web again. However, Chi-jun made it clear to Min-young that he didn't care about the world's opinion. He told her that if she took just one step toward him, he would take 99 toward her. Min-young felt embarrassed but saw the sincerity in his eyes. At that moment, he kissed her and declared that he would take all 100 steps toward her instead. This time, Min-young did not resist her feelings. Of course, she finally said yes to Chi-jun, officially becoming his girlfriend. A little while later, Jin-soo arrived to check on Min-young, bringing soup for her. However, this time, Chi-jun had already won. He firmly told Jin-soo that Min-young was now his girlfriend and that he would be the one to feed her. Poor Jin-soo's heart breaks as soon as he finds out about their relationship. He doesn't want to be the third wheel, but what can he do? He accepts it, saying, "Fine, she's your girlfriend, I get it, but I am still her best friend and always will be." Just then, someone had called Min-young downstairs to reveal something, but actually it was all a setup by Lin Yang. After that, the thug sneaks into the room and searches through everything. The two boys soon realize that someone had been there and someone was either trying to take something or cause harm. They conclude that it's not safe there, so they decide to leave the hospital. Jin-soo insists, "She's my employee now, so she will stay at my place." But Chi-jun counters, "More importantly, she's my girlfriend and she will stay at my home." Amidst all the arguments, the three of them eventually end up at Chi-jun's house. Jin-soo decides to stay there too. Min-young is given a separate room while the two boys share one. At night, they keep fighting at first, kicking each other, and then, in the middle of the night, Jin-soo sneaks up to check whether Min-young is asleep. But before leaving, he ties Chi-jun's hand to the table to prevent him from sneaking away at night. However, he doesn't realize that Chi-jun is always 2 steps ahead. He had already tied one of his legs to the wardrobe, trapping him as well. In the morning, Chi-jun gets up early to prepare breakfast. But when Jin-shu saw this, he ate all the breakfast. And for Min-young, he brought specially prepared healthy food from a professional chef, pretending to care for her even more. Jin-shu declares, "I'm staying home today and I'm not going to the set because my clothes from yesterday are dirty and I refuse to wear them again." Chi-jun smirks and says, "My entire wardrobe is available to you. Pick anything and wear it." But Jin-shu refuses, determined to stay there. But Chi-jun forcefully makes him wear his own clothes and drags him into his car and takes him along. Now people start gossiping again, and now they are speculating that since they arrived together in the same car, they must have spent the night together. On the set, the rumors about Jin-soo and Chi-jun only intensify, fueling endless gossip. Jin-soo called home to have some clothes sent over, but when his dad found out he was out somewhere, he sent bodyguards to forcibly bring him back. Seeing this, Chi-jun was overjoyed. When he got home, he excitedly told his girlfriend, "It's just you and me now. I'm going to make you an amazing dinner. Tonight is going to be incredibly romantic." The two of them cooked together, enjoying every moment. There was no third person between them. Meanwhile, Lin Yang made sure not to miss a single opportunity to hurt Qing. At one point, he deliberately brought another girl in front of her just to show how little she meant to him. Qing was deeply hurt but stayed silent in front of the other girl. Later, during a media briefing about her upcoming shoot, Qing made a bold confession in front of the press. She declared, "I'm not single. I have a long-term boyfriend who has been with me for years." But before finishing her sentence, she kissed Lin Yang in front of the whole media. Qing thought she had played her move well, but she didn't realize that only 5 select reporters were present there, and everything was under Lin Yang's control. The next day, no news about her confession was published, and Lin Yang smugly told her, "Perhaps now you understand my power. No one can afford to be my enemy. I've had the media in my hands for a long time." He then gave her an ultimatum. "If you want to stay in peace, become my mistress. If not, let me know." On the other hand, Chi-jun was completely devoted to his girlfriend, willing to fight the whole world for her. He was even ready to leave the industry to marry her and live a normal life. That day, Chi-jun took his girlfriend out on a date. They went shopping together but got caught by fans, who began following them. Later, when they went out for dinner, they were swarmed again. It became nearly impossible to escape the crowd, so their manager had to step in. He skillfully distracted the fans and sneaked them into a car and arranged for another vehicle to throw off any followers. Finally, they managed to escape the chaos, just the two of them. Chi-jun and Min-young decided to go skating, thinking that wearing a helmet might help him avoid recognition. However, Jin-shu also arrived there and insisted that since he didn't know how to skate, Chi-jun had to teach him. As a result, they ended up wasting a lot of their time, but they still managed to enjoy themselves. Meanwhile, due to the viral photos from the previous day, Chi-jun faced professional setbacks. A few companies decided to end their endorsements with him. Concerned, his manager discussed the matter with Chi-jun, who assured him that losing 1 or 2 companies wouldn't make much of a difference. However, the manager also warned that if such incidents continued, Chi-jun's public image would suffer significantly, which could lead to major losses. Later, he spoke to Chi-jun and told him that while he understood their relationship, it would be better not to make it too obvious to the world. In response, Chi-jun made it clear that he didn't care about the consequences, as he wanted everyone to know who his woman was. Outside their film set, people continued to gossip about Min-young and protest against her. One of Chi-jun's biggest critics, who had been leading the online hate campaign against him, was particularly active. She ran a page dedicated to spreading negativity about him. Eventually, they found out that the woman was overweight and neglected her health. She had been admitted to the hospital. Chi-jun decided to visit her. He not only checked on her health, but also took care of her and had an honest conversation with her about his feelings for Min-young. He explained that Min-young was truly a good person. Before leaving, he even took a selfie with her and told her that while he respected people's opinions, he also had a personal life and deserved the right to live it. Meanwhile, Ting confronted Lin Yang once again, telling him that he couldn't continue to manipulate her. In response, Lin Yang just smirked and informed her that he was already planning a wedding. He stated that very soon, he and the other girl would be married and that if she wanted to remain his mistress, she was welcome to do so. Otherwise, they would have to break up. Lin Yang had already used her like tissue paper and discarded her. Meanwhile, the scene shifted to Senior Lin, who had been close friends with Lily for many years. They had known each other for a long time and had worked together extensively. However, Lily was well aware that while Senior Lin and Jin-shu were good people, Lin Yang was nothing like them. Senior Lin knew both of his sons well, so he wanted Jin-shu to take over the company, but Jin-shu firmly declined, stating that he had no claim over it. He acknowledged that his brother had dedicated more time and effort to the company, managing it efficiently, and therefore he deserved to be in charge. Senior Lin then summoned his son and announced his retirement. He officially handed over the company to his elder son. Meanwhile, Min Young once helped a fan of Chi Jun. The fan's father had a wish that before his daughter left for abroad, she should meet her idol. So, after much effort, Min Young arranged for the meeting at the airport. The way an idol and a fan were reunited gained positive media attention, further enhancing Min Young's reputation. This development made Chi Jun extremely happy as well. One day, Chi Jun was at Min Young's house. She had just taken a shower and realized she had forgotten to bring her clothes. Chi Jun handed her a set, but they weren't just any clothes, but they were matching outfits designed with a dinosaur theme. Knowing that his girlfriend was an archaeologist, this was specially made as a thoughtful gift. The two of them had a great time together, enjoying the moment. However, as they played a dinosaur recording, Chi Jun unintentionally overheard something shocking. It revealed Lin Yang's secret. It didn't take him long to piece things together. Lin Yang had been repeatedly trying to harm Min Young. This meant his girlfriend was in danger only because of Lin Yang, and it was now his responsibility to protect her. The next day, Chi Jung went straight to director Lily and played the recording for her. She immediately confessed that Min Young was very dear to her, and that is why she had wanted to keep her away from the movie set, because she knew that Lin Young was a dangerous man. However, Chi Jun insisted that Min Young was emotionally invested in the film and shouldn't be kept away. He assured director Lily that he would handle the situation and personally ensure Min Young's safety. After that, Chi Jun went directly to Lin Yang's office. He placed the same dinosaur toy on his desk and firmly stated, "I have no interest in your personal problems." Chi Jun had already heard about everything Lin Yang had done in the past. However, he made it clear that he didn't care about any of it and had no intention of getting involved in his matters. He handed him the recording, and in return, he demanded a guarantee that Lin Yang would stay away from his girlfriend and never cause her any harm. Lin Yang agreed to this condition, but things didn't go as expected. Meanwhile, Assistant Lee regained consciousness, and as soon as he did, he realized exactly what needed to be done. Without wasting any time, he disappeared from the hospital. Lin Yang, blinded by his arrogance and power, couldn't see any other option. So he decided that he wouldn't spare Assistant Lee, who now knew his secret. Additionally, if Chi Jun ever tried to go against him, he knew exactly where to strike. His girlfriend Min Young, who was most precious to him. As soon as Assistant Lee woke up, he cut ties with everyone and escaped from that place, along with his son. He was well aware of how cruel Lin Young was, a man who had no loyalty to anyone. If he didn't even spare outsiders, why would he let him and his son go? Knowing the danger, he decided to disappear before Lin Yang could make his next move. At the same time, another couple's story unfolded. It turned out that Faye had developed feelings for Min Young's brother James. Realizing her past mistakes about Min Young, she approached him, sincerely apologized, and asked for forgiveness. Seeing that she had truly changed, James forgave her wholeheartedly. One day, out of nowhere, Chi Jun realized that he had no couple photos with his girlfriend. Wanting to create memories, he decided to arrange a photo shoot. He gave her a stunning makeover, and as soon as she made her appearance, everyone around was left speechless. She looked breathtakingly beautiful, and together they made a picture-perfect couple. However, when Jinshu saw them, his heart skipped a beat. A strange feeling washed over him, making him uneasy. Just as he was about to leave, Chi Jun stopped him and said, "Don't avoid us like this. We both competed, and in the end, she made her choice. You should respect her decision. She may be my girlfriend, but you are her childhood friend. The place you hold in her heart will never change." Hearing this, Jinshu decided to distance himself completely. However, in the next scene, a terrible incident took place. Lin Yang's henchmen had intentionally leaked gas in Min Young's house, and the moment she arrived home, a massive explosion occurred. Thankfully, Chi Jun was with her at the time. He immediately rushed her to the hospital, and after a while, her condition stabilized. Min Young had no idea what had actually happened and believed it to be just an accident. But Chi Jun knew the truth, that there was no one else behind this except Lin Yang. Jinshu also started having suspicions, as he had seen Lin Yang's henchmen near Min Young's house. Deeply worried about her, he went to his elder brother. He admitted that not only was Min Young his best friend, but he was also in love with her. He requested his brother to assign a few bodyguards to protect her. However, he was unaware that the very person he was asking for help was actually Min Young's greatest enemy. Meanwhile, Chi Jun directly confronted Lin Yang, warning him to stop his actions. He made it clear that whoever had tried to harm his Min Young would not be forgiven. But Lin Yang smirked and coldly responded, "You are not powerful enough to go against me. You can keep dreaming, but I am the one who destroys people's dreams. On the other hand, Qing was secretly trying to find Lin Yang's weaknesses. Eventually, she found a major one. A director named Wang, who was drunk at the time, unknowingly revealed all of Lin Yang's dark secrets. Ji recorded his confession on her phone and later forwarded the recording to him. Using it as leverage, she blackmailed Lin Yang into meeting her. Lin Yang was furious at her actions, but she pleaded with him, saying that she loved him and couldn't bear to see him marry someone else. However, Lin Yang remained indifferent. He was already spending most of his time with his business partner Jia and was planning his wedding with her. Interestingly, Jia was also a fan of Qi Jun. At one point, she even asked him for an autograph, which made Lin Yang feel even worse. He planned to propose to Jia, and he had already made all his preparations. But as soon as Qi Jun found out that Lin Yang was going to be proposed to Jia, he thought, why not ruin this moment for him? He found out the location and disrupted all his plans. He reached the spot along with his fans. All it took was one post, and his fans gathered there in no time. Since someone was about to propose there, people started asking questions. Just then, Qing also arrived and started acting as if she was the one being proposed to. With so many cameras from the media and the crowd were focused on him, Lin Yang had no choice but to propose to Qing. However, while putting the ring on her finger, he whispered, "You will regret this a lot." Jia, who had arrived, saw everything unfold. Witnessing this scene, her heart broke. She left in tears. Meanwhile, Qijun, who just saw the opportunity, saw her crying and tried to comfort her. She ended up hugging him while sobbing, and he felt happy that Lin Yang was visibly upset. Well, amidst all this chaos, he had also started having small disputes with his girlfriend. She was extremely possessive and asked him, "Fine, you comforted her, but was it necessary to hug her?" He, being mischievous, replied, "You can also ask me for whatever you want. I'm ready to give it." By now, the entire situation had slipped out of Lin Yang's control. While leaving, he told Wing that no one from the media would report this, but he was unaware that Qijun was very cunning. This time, not only had he brought the media, but he had also called his fans, and they spread the entire incident across social media, and this made Lin Yang furious. After all this, when Qijun met Qing, he asked Qing, "Are you sure you want to marry this man?" She replied, "What can I do? I can't control my heart." Meanwhile, Qujun once again told Minyoung that he wanted to practice a romantic scene with her. She blushed and said she had something to do, but he playfully pulled her down and said, "I will only practice with you." In between their banter, they end up falling on the sofa. Qujun found her lips very soft, so, without missing a beat, they shared a beautiful kiss. On the other hand, news about Lin Yang's wedding with Qing was spreading everywhere. When Senior Lin found out about this, he also pressured Lin Yang, saying, "If this mess gets out of hand, you need to fix it. Jia is never going to marry you anyway. You might as well marry Qing. At least that would save some face." Lin Yang was extremely furious. He confronted Qijun and warned him that he had done enough and he would not tolerate anything further. He gave Qijun 24 hours to ensure his and his girlfriend's safety, instructing him to take Minyoung far away before noon the next day. Otherwise, he would not be responsible for what happened next and would not spare anyone. Qijun's project was still incomplete, with shooting yet to be finished, so the manager told him to not do anything that would impact the shooting. But Qijun reassured himself that he could find a way to complete it by making a few trips back and forth. However, his priority was to take Minyoung somewhere far away where she would be safe. He attempted to convince Minyoung to leave with him by making various excuses, but she consistently refused. She firmly stated that the movie was about her father and that she would not abandon it under any circumstances. Realizing that direct persuasion would not work, he took Minyoung out on a date for a day. They spent time together, enjoying themselves, and later, he took her onto a ship. There, they spent a beautiful evening watching the stars. As the night progressed, Minyoung eventually fell asleep. Qijun carefully ensured that she was comfortable, and once she was asleep, he locked the place before leaving. His plan was to quickly gather his belongings and take her away to a safe place before anyone could interfere. However, Qijun was unaware that his girlfriend was highly skilled in martial arts. Minyoung somehow managed to escape and returned directly to the movie set. By then, it was already past noon. Since Xia had not left, Lin Yang's deadline had expired. He turned to his henchman and ordered him to get rid of the girl, shortly after he kidnapped Minyoung. But at the same time, Qijun had already arrived on set and he searched for Minyoung everywhere. Eventually, he spotted the henchman holding her captive at a secluded place. Without wasting a moment, he chased him away and rescued his girlfriend. Finally, the moment arrived when he had no choice but to reveal the truth to her. Chi-jun admitted that her life had been in danger, which was why he had wanted them to leave. However, Min-young, staying true to her fearless nature, firmly responded that no matter what the danger was, they would face it together. She added that even if Lin Yang was behind everything, they would deal with him, but they were not going to run away. Chi-jun respected her decision, though he had also made his own preparations. He went straight to Chairman Senior Lin. He then presented to him all substantial evidence of all the illegal activities Lin Yang had been involved in. After going through the documents, Senior Lin became furious. Summoning Lin Yang to his office, he scolded him harshly, demanding to know why he refused to change his reckless behavior. He reminded Lin Yang that he had ignored previous mistakes, but this time, things had gone too far. At that moment, Lin Yang lost his composure and snapped. He accused his father of never considering him a son and always prioritizing Jinju over him. He then revealed that he had turned to substance abuse just to cope with his neglect. Lin Yang went on to share the painful truth that his mother had constantly fought with him, which had led to her falling ill. In the end, she had been thrown out of the house and had died in agony. He explained that he had spent some time in an orphanage until his father had eventually come to take him back. Hearing all this, Senior Lin was so shocked that he suffered a heart attack. He desperately reached for his medicines, but Lin Yang simply stood there, pretending to cry without handing them over. Later, when it was time to show the world a different version of events, Lin Yang put on a dramatic act, crying in front of everyone and making sure they saw how devastated he was. He arranged for his father to be admitted to the hospital, but in reality, he had already bribed the doctor, instructing him that Senior Lin should not regain consciousness until he allowed it. With his newfound influence, Lin Yang did everything in his power to make Chi-jun's life miserable. Sometimes he would snatch endorsement deals away from him. Other times, he would ensure his contracts got canceled. His interference didn't stop there, and he even went after director Lily and pressured him to replace Chi-jun with another actor. Lin Yang went as far as offering to finance the entire movie just to get Chi-jun removed. Additionally, he started plotting his character assassination. He approached director Wang and made an enticing offer that he would pay off all the director's gambling debts from the casino. In return, Director Wang was to manipulate Jia and convince her that the reason her life was ruined wasn't anyone else but Chi-jun himself, just because Chi-jun had once rejected her and didn't like her. Soon enough, Jia, influenced by this scheme, appeared before the press and publicly blamed Chi-jun for everything. The director also executed this drama flawlessly, making it look completely convincing. As soon as the manager learned about the situation, he became worried, but Chi-jun was not at all surprised. He had already anticipated how low Lin Yang could stoop. Ever since he had made an enemy of Lin Yang, he had been mentally prepared for any possible repercussions. Shortly after, Lin Yang held a press conference where he announced that Yang Entertainment had no affiliation with Chi-jun. He went on to claim that Chi-jun was not a decent person but a monster who had used Jia and then abandoned her. Additionally, Lin Yang presented evidence of a hotel booking that matched the one where Jia had spent the night. Qing tried to reason with him, insisting that he was making false accusations, but Lin Yang dismissed her concerns. He told her that if she wanted to be Yang Entertainment's leading lady, she would have to endure such challenges, as this was just the beginning. Chi-jun remained somewhat unsettled, but Min-young had full faith in him. She tried to cheer him up, taking him to an aquarium to lift his spirits. Eventually, Chi-jun felt better and even kissed his girlfriend. Min-young playfully scolded him, saying, "What are you doing? So many fish are watching us." Meanwhile, Jin-chu gradually realized that his brother was behind everything. He had been following his henchmen and discovered that he came from the same orphanage as his brother. This meant that all the attacks on Min-young and every wrong move made against her were carried out under his brother's orders. On the other hand, Min-young had made up her mind to prove Chi-jun's innocence. She pointed out that the hotel booking wasn't fake, and it was true that he had been there that night, but only because he had gone to propose to Qing at that time. She recalled that he had used an action camera to record the proposal, and they realized that if they could find that camera's memory card, they could retrieve the data to clear his name. However, the challenge was that the shooting set contained many cameras and they had to check each memory card one by one. It was a long and exhausting process, but Min-young worked tirelessly through the night. Finally, the next day, she found the footage. Seeing the video made Chi-jun feel deeply embarrassed, but there was no choice. If he wanted to clear his name, he had to present this footage to the world. Thus, they organized a press conference where Chi-jun explained what he had been doing at the hotel. The video of him proposing to Qing turned into a sensational story for the media. Chi-jun had taken extra precautions, that he had even arranged for a forensic report confirming that the video was completely authentic and unedited. However, Lin Yang was an expert at controlling narratives. He knew exactly how to manipulate the media. He orchestrated a scenario where Ching was testing out a bridal gown and invited the media there. When reporters questioned Ching about whether the video was real or edited, he ensured that she was unable to respond. As a result, people assumed her silence meant that the video was fake. Once again, Chi-jun found himself trapped in a web of accusations. However, those who truly knew him understood that he was being framed. Meanwhile, director Lily had begun to suspect something. She deliberately knocked over a nurse's tray to discreetly obtain some medicine. She later had the medicine tested in a laboratory, and she made a startling discovery. Senior Lin was being given certain injections that were preventing him from recovering from his coma. Lily showed this evidence to Jin-soo, where it was revealed how despicable his brother truly was. She explained to him that, while he loved and respected his brother, considering him his role model, the priority at the moment was to save his father. After knowing all his truth, Jin-soo pretended to be sincere and loyal to Lin Yang, acting as though he was serious about their company. However, behind the scenes, he was actively gathering evidence against him while also trying to win his trust. Lin Yang introduced Jin-soo to his henchman and his best friend and recounted how, during their time in the orphanage when he was bullied, his best friend would always step forward to protect him. He emphasized that even after he left the orphanage and became a successful person, he never abandoned him. Instead, he had kept him by his side, making him his right-hand man who handled all his affairs, both good and bad. However, the henchmen remained suspicious and insisted that they could not trust Jin-soo. However, Lin Yang responded firmly, stating that when the entire world looked down on him, Jin-soo was the only one who stood by his side. He expressed his unwavering trust in his brother, declaring that while he could harm the entire world, he would never harm Jin-soo. However, Jin-soo had his own strategy in mind. He took the henchman with him and distracted him by revealing the fake location of Assistant Lee and his son, who had gone into hiding. With this opportunity, Lily successfully managed to get Jin-soo's father out of the hospital. After this, the henchman tried to convince Lin Yang that his brother was not sincere with him, but Lin Yang remained adamant, stating that regardless of how his brother was, he would never harm him. However, he still wanted to eliminate the others who stood in his way. He then mentioned that it was time to repeat the bombing incident they had orchestrated 8 years ago. Jin-soo overheard this conversation, and on the day when a bombing scene was being filmed on their set, he quickly realized that his brother intended to replace the fake explosion with a real one. Before any real damage could occur, Jin-soo warned everyone on set and successfully evacuated them, preventing any casualties. This move completely foiled his brother's plan. At the same time, Jin-soo admitted that he could no longer continue acting. He decided to confront his brother, telling him everything and attempting to convince him to step back from his dangerous path. However, upon hearing this, Lin Yang's brother furiously threw him out of the house. Meanwhile, amidst all the chaos, Ching also ended up getting injured. She was certain that Lin Yang had orchestrated the entire incident because he wanted to eliminate Min Young and Chi-jun. But what truly hurt her was the realization that Lin Yang didn't care about her at all. She had been on the same set during the accident, yet he hadn't even bothered to check if she was okay. The following day, Lin Yang took his schemes a step further. He bribed an injured worker from the set and had him stage a press conference. There, the worker falsely claimed that the entire incident had been planned by Chi-jun. All the media personnel rushed to the hospital to interview Ching, and to maintain his reputation and show off, Lin Yang was also sitting there. Moreover, he wasn't letting Ching say anything. Lin Yang himself gave updates to the media and then made them leave. After they left, Ching shouted at Lin Yang, asking how he could do all this without thinking. She angrily told him that doing so could have cost her life in the accident. But Lin Yang was so blinded by money and power that he couldn't see anything else. He even manipulated Ching's manager to be on his side. The manager locked Ching alone in the hospital and left as instructed by Lin Yang. Meanwhile, after the attack, Chi-jun forbids Min Young from coming to the set. However, he also knew that Min Young wouldn't listen to him, so to protect her, Chi-jun tied Min Young with a rope and placed a mattress beside her bed to prevent her from falling to the floor. Seeing this, Min Young thought Chi-jun was overreacting. She somehow managed to free herself and reach the set. There she learned that they needed a girl to play the role of a mummy, so she decided to be the mummy herself and lay inside the casket. During the scene, when Chi-jun saw her, he was shocked, but he also knew that Min Young wouldn't have stayed home anyway. Right in the middle of the scene, he kissed his girlfriend. Meanwhile, Jinshu gives Min-young the lamp containing evidence against his brother. He had been planning to give it to her for a long time, but never had the courage. Finally, he hands it over, but Min-young knows how much Jinshu loves his brother. She realizes that if she accepts this evidence, Jinshu will always feel guilty that his own actions led to his brother's imprisonment. So, she returns the evidence and tells him that she will find the truth on her own. She reassures Jinshu not to worry. Hearing this, Jinshu becomes emotional, hugs Min-young, and tells her that she will always be his friend. He also mentions that they might never meet again after today, which confuses Min-young, as she doesn't understand why he is saying this. Meanwhile, Lin Yang believes that everything is under his control since he has managed to frame Chi-jun for the explosion with the help of a worker. However, on the same day, Jinshu gathers the media and takes all the blame upon himself. He announces that he wanted to remove his brother and take control of Yang Entertainment, so he orchestrated everything. He insists that Chi-jun is completely innocent. When Lin Yang hears this, he confronts Jinju, asking why he is doing this. In response, Jinju shows him the evidence against his brother and says he knows the truth. However, he could never bear to see his elder brother in trouble, which is why he took the blame. Lin Yang suddenly remembers an incident from their childhood when he had accidentally broken a vase and was terrified. At that time, Jinshu had taken the blame in front of their father and had been scolded instead. Jinshu had told his brother that whenever he was in trouble, he would step forward to protect him, and now he had done exactly that. Lin Yang's manager informs him that Jinshu has been sent to jail and has refused to hire a lawyer. Around the same time, Lin Yang also learns that Assistant Lee is hiding at a dock in South China with his son, trying to escape him. Furious, Lin Yang orders his henchmen to eliminate Assistant Lee. Ching, who had managed to escape from the hospital, overhears everything. Realizing that Assistant Lee's life is in danger, she quickly runs away to warn someone. However, one of Lin Yang's men spots her and starts chasing her. Ching barely manages to escape and reaches Fei, pleading for help, telling him that someone is following her. It was a ladies' salon, so Fei helped Ching, and all the women there joined forces to beat up the man chasing her. Afterward, Fei took Ching to Min-young's house, where everyone learned about Lin Yang's deadly plan. Determined to stop him, they all set out to rescue Assistant Lee from his hiding place. Meanwhile, Assistant Lee had also sensed danger and was preparing to leave. However, Min-young and Chi-jun arrived just in time and urged him to testify against Lin Yang. Feeling remorseful for his actions, Assistant Lee agreed, but only on the condition that Min-young promised to ensure his son's safety. On the other hand, Ching was now free and one day spotted Lin Yang heading somewhere while heavily drunk. She confronted him again, asking why he was doing all this. But instead of answering, Lin Yang lashed out at her, saying he had nothing left to give her and questioned why she was still chasing after him. Ching, in tears, admitted that no matter how hard she tried, she couldn't forget him. However, Lin Yang remained unmoved and left her crying. The next day, the movie shooting was finally completed, but Lin Yang arrived at the shoot location and started causing trouble, demanding that the last day's shoot be redone to prevent the movie from ever being released. Just then, he received the shocking news that his father had regained consciousness. He rushed to see him and unleashed all his pent-up resentment, accusing his father of always differentiating between him and Jinshu's mother just because his own mother was poor. He lamented how their father always favored Jinshu and his mother while neglecting him. However, his father denied ever discriminating against them. He admitted that since Jinshu was the younger son, he had naturally paid more attention to him, but regretted never understanding Lin Yang's pain. Then, he handed Lin Yang Jinsu's will, which revealed that Jinsu had legally transferred everything to his elder brother long ago. Seeing this, Lin Yang was filled with even more grief. He went to an isolated place, drowning his sorrows in alcohol. As he drank, his most trusted subordinate arrived. Lin Yang handed him a flight ticket and ordered him to leave the country. When the subordinate refused, Lin Yang forcibly made him flee, ensuring that he got away safely. But Ching was still searching for Lin Yang and eventually found out where he was. At the same time, the director Wang confronted Lin Yang, demanding the money he had lost to him in gambling. When Lin Yang refused to pay, the director attacked him with a wooden stick. However, Ching intervened just in time to protect Lin Yang but ended up getting injured herself. Lin Yang immediately took Ching to the hospital, feeling immense guilt for all the pain he had caused to those who loved him. When he learned that Ching was out of danger, he held a press conference and confessed everything, taking full responsibility for his actions. Apologizing to everyone, he announced that he would surrender himself to the authorities. After this, he was sent to jail, and in turn, Jinshu was released. While Jinshu was in prison, Min-young used to write letters to him, which he cherished. Upon his release, the first place he visited was the jail, but this time, to see his brother. Lin Yang, deeply ashamed, sincerely apologized to his younger brother for all his mistakes. After his release, Jinshu went to meet Min Young, but Chi-jun was still wary, suspecting that Jinshu might revert to his old tactics. To secure his place in Min Young's life, Chi-jun planned to propose to her in a grand way. However, he had made it so extravagant that Min Young figured it out beforehand. She playfully told Chi-jun, "I know you're planning to propose, but it's so obvious that I won't say yes. Keep trying." Laughing, she walked away to meet her mother. Director Lily had decided to retire after the movie's successful release and wanted to live a peaceful life in a village. However, Senior Lin stopped her mother on the way and asked her to go with him. He even confesses that he couldn't imagine his life without Lily. He took her with him, surprising and delighting Chi-jun and Min Young, who were happy that their mother finally had someone to care for her. After the movie's huge success, Chi-jun took Min Young as his date to an award show, where he won the Best Actor award. To everyone's surprise, instead of keeping the award for himself, he handed it to Min Young and proposed to her on stage. He even said that he is taking retirement to live a happy life with his future wife. Overwhelmed, Min Young accepted his proposal and kissed him in front of everyone. And with that, the story had a perfect happy ending.